The morphine was still making everything feel distant and dreamlike when my phone buzzed on the hospital bedside table. I'd just come out of emergency surgery after a drunk driver had T-boned my car 3 days earlier. Broken ribs, internal bleeding, concussion, the works. But I was alive, which was more than the doctors had initially promised. The text was from my sister Isabella. "We sold your apartment to cover expenses. Deal with it. Family meeting tonight to discuss your other assets." I stared at the message for a long moment, letting it sink in. My family had just sold my apartment while I was unconscious in intensive care. Not to help with medical bills. My insurance covered everything. To cover expenses, which in Martinez family code usually meant Isabella's credit card debt or my brother Diego's latest business failure. I pressed the call button for the nurse. "Everything okay, Mr. Martinez?" Sarah, the night nurse, poked her head in. "Could you hand me my laptop from the bag? I need to make a quick business call." The doctor said to rest. "This'll just take 5 minutes." She helped me sit up properly and positioned the laptop on the bed table. I opened my secure connection to Pinnacle Properties Management and scrolled to the tenant directory for Skyline Tower, the 40-story luxury complex in downtown where I'd been living for the past 2 years. My family thought I rented apartment 3247 for $3,200 a month, which they considered ridiculously expensive for someone who worked in computers. What they didn't know was that I owned the entire building through a network of holding companies I'd established over the past 4 years. I found the Martinez family entries in the system. Isabella had been living in the penthouse suite on the 38th floor for 18 months, officially as my house sitter, but really because she'd been evicted from her previous apartment for non-payment. My parents occupied the luxury 2-bedroom on the 35th floor, and Diego had the corner unit on 33. All of them living rent-free in a building worth $347 million, while treating me like the family charity case. I opened my phone and dialed building security. "Pinnacle Properties, Marcus speaking." "Marcus, this is Alex Martinez. I need the Henderson family escorted from the building immediately." "Sir? Is everything all right?" "Family emergency. Please revoke all access cards for units 3301, 3512 and 3847. Effective immediately." That's the Martinez family, sir. "Your emergency contacts. Former emergency contacts. Please have their belongings packed and moved to temporary storage. Bill the moving expenses to my account." "Understood, sir. Should I inform them that you're the building owner or?" "Not yet. Just tell them the apartment sales were fraudulent and the building management is investigating." I hung up and opened my portfolio management app. Time to deal with the family meeting Isabella had mentioned. My phone rang almost immediately. Isabella's name appeared on the screen. "Alex, what the hell is happening? Security just told us we have to leave the building." "Really? That's weird." I kept my voice calm, almost bored. "Why would they do that?" "They said something about fraudulent apartment sales. They're packing our stuff right now." Well, you did text me that you sold my apartment. Maybe building management found out about the unauthorized transaction." "Unauthorized? Alex, we're your family. We have power of attorney." "That was interesting. Actually, Isabella, you don't. I never signed any power of attorney documents." Silence on the other end. "Isabella? You still there?" But Dad said you'd given us financial authority while you were unconscious." "Dad lied. Which reminds me, how exactly did you sell an apartment you don't own?" More silence. "Isabella, please tell me you didn't forge my signature on legal documents." "It wasn't forgery. We were protecting your interests. By selling property that doesn't belong to you to cover your credit card debt?" "How did you know about the credit cards?" I pulled up Isabella's credit report on my laptop. As the building owner, I had access to all tenants' financial information for lease qualification purposes. "You're $67,000 in debt across 8 credit cards with a 534 credit score. Diego owes $43,000 to various creditors, and his business loan is in default." "Alex, how do you know all this?" "I know a lot of things, Isabella. For instance, I know that the apartment sale you arranged was actually a scam targeting elderly victims. The buyers you found were planning to use my apartment as a base for identity theft operations." The gasp on the other end told me I'd hit the target. "You didn't vet the buyers at all, did you? You just took their cash and handed over fake ownership documents." "Alex, I can explain." "Don't. I already reported the attempted fraud to the FBI. They'll want to interview you tomorrow. I could hear Diego's voice in the background asking what was happening. Put me on speaker, Isabella. A moment later, Diego's voice came through clearly. Alex, what's this about fraudulent sales? We were trying to help you. Help me by stealing my apartment and selling it to criminals? Steal? Bro, you're in the hospital. Someone needed to handle your affairs. Which affairs exactly? My business is running perfectly fine without your intervention. What business? Mom's voice joined the conversation. Alex, honey, you work for that little computer company. We've been supporting you for years. I opened my business banking app and took a screenshot of the main dashboard, then texted it to Isabella. Check your phone, I said. 15 seconds of silence, then Isabella's whispered, Oh my God. What? Diego demanded. What did he send? His bank balance, Isabella breathed. Alex, this says you have $184 million. That's just the primary business account, I said. The portfolio management system shows total assets, but I figured we'd start small. Total assets? Mom's voice was barely audible. I opened the full portfolio display and sent another screenshot. Pinnacle Properties Management Group. Current valuation, $2.8 billion. Diego's voice cracked. Billion? With AB. 17 commercial properties, 43 residential buildings, and about 12,000 individual units across 3 states. We specialize in luxury developments and mixed-use commercial spaces. Alex, Dad's voice joined the call. Apparently the whole family was now huddled around Isabella's phone. Are you saying you own real estate? I'm saying I own the real estate company that owns most of the downtown district, including Skyline Tower, where you've all been living rent-free for the past year and a half. The silence stretched for nearly a minute. Finally, Mom spoke. You own our building? I own your building, your favorite restaurant, the mall where Isabella works, and the car dealership where Diego bought his BMW. I paused for effect. Speaking of which, Diego, your car payments are 3 months behind. The repo company will be there Monday morning unless the account is brought current. But I thought you were struggling financially, Mom said weakly. You never spend money, you live so modestly. Because I learned early that displays of wealth made this family treat me like an ATM. Remember my college graduation when I mentioned getting a good job offer? Dad immediately started talking about family investment opportunities. That was different, Dad protested. We were trying to help you understand business. You were trying to get your hands on my signing bonus. Just like you're trying to get your hands on my assets now. I pulled up another screen on my laptop. Speaking of business understanding, Isabella, did you know that selling someone else's property is a federal felony? Alex, we can fix this, Isabella said quickly. We'll call the buyers, cancel the sale. Too late. The FBI already has the fake documents you created, the buyers' identities and security footage of you accepting cash payments in the parking garage. Security footage? Diego's voice went high. Skyline Tower has cameras in every common area, including the garage where Isabella met with known criminals to sell stolen property. I could hear frantic whispering in the background. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You have 6 hours to pack your belongings and vacate the building. Security will assist with the moving process. Alex, please, Mom pleaded. We're your family. Family doesn't steal from each other while one member is fighting for his life in the hospital. But where will we go? Isabella asked. I pulled up another property listing. There's a nice 2-bedroom apartment available in the Riverside complex. Rent is $1,800 a month, utilities included. References and first month's rent required. $1,800? Alex, we can't afford that. Then I suggest you find jobs. Diego, there's an opening for a sales associate at the Toyota dealership. Isabella, the Riverside Mall is hiring retail positions. Both start at $16 an hour. You want us to work minimum wage jobs? Diego sounded horrified. I want you to work honest jobs. There's a difference. My phone buzzed with another call, Marcus from building security. Excuse me for a moment, I told my family, then switched calls. Marcus, what's the situation? Sir, the Martinez family is refusing to leave. They're claiming tenant rights and threatening to call the police. Go ahead and call the police. Show them the lease agreements. You'll find that all 3 units are listed under property management discretionary housing, not tenant leases. The occupants have no legal standing. Understood, sir. Should I mention that you're the building owner? Not yet. Let them figure it out on their own. I switched back to the family call. Alex. Isabella's voice was panicked now. The security guard is calling the police. He says we don't have tenant rights. That's correct. You've been staying in property management units as a courtesy. Since that courtesy has been revoked due to criminal activity, you're now trespassing. Criminal activity? Dad's voice was sharp. Alex, we're your family. We were trying to protect your interests. By committing real estate fraud? By lying about power of attorney? By selling property to criminals? I pulled up the FBI case file on my laptop. Dad, did you know that identity theft rings typically use stolen apartments as base operations for credit card fraud? We didn't know that. You didn't care to know. You saw an opportunity to make quick money and took it regardless of the consequences. A new voice came through the phone, a police officer speaking to my family in the background. Ma'am, you need to gather your belongings immediately. The property owner has filed trespassing charges. Property owner? Isabella's voice was confused. Alex, who owns this building? I could hear the officer responding. Alexander Martinez, CEO of Pinnacle Properties Management Group. You're currently trespassing on his property. The phone went completely silent. After a long moment, Mom whispered, Alex? Are you still there? I'm here. You own this building? I own this building and 16 others like it, plus the mall, the restaurant district, and about half the commercial space downtown. But why didn't you tell us? Because every time I succeeded at anything, you found a way to make it about what I could do for you instead of celebrating what I'd accomplished. I shifted painfully in the hospital bed. Remember when I got my first big contract 4 years ago? Before I could even explain what I'd achieved, Dad was asking about investment opportunities and Diego was pitching his food truck idea. We were excited for you. You were excited about my money. There's a difference. I could hear more movement in the background, my family packing their belongings under police supervision. Alex, Dad's voice was different now, smaller. What do you want from us? I want you to understand that success isn't about what you can take from other people. It's about what you can build through hard work and honest dealing. But we're your family. Family doesn't forge documents, steal property, or try to liquidate someone's assets while they're unconscious in the hospital. I paused. But family does forgive under the right circumstances. What circumstances? I pulled up the employment listings for my various companies. Diego, there's a property management trainee position available at Riverside Properties. $42,000 a year to start, with advancement opportunities based on performance. Isabella, we need a customer service coordinator for the retail division. $38,000 plus benefits. You're offering us jobs? Isabella sounded stunned. I'm offering you opportunities to earn honest livings. Whether you take them is up to you. And Mom and Dad? I looked at the financial analysis I'd run on Dad's consulting business last month. Dad's been struggling with his independent practice. There's a business development role open at Pinnacle that would let him use his expertise while learning property management. Salary starts at $75,000. Alex, Mom said quietly, we don't deserve this. No, you don't. But Grandpa used to say that family is about who you choose to become, not who you used to be. The police officer's voice came through clearly. You have 10 minutes to finish packing. The moving truck is waiting downstairs. Isabella, the job offers expire at midnight Sunday. Think about it over the weekend. What about our security deposits for new apartments? I pulled up my corporate housing assistance program. Employees in good standing can access low-interest housing loans and deposit assistance. But you'd have to actually be employees first. Diego's voice was subdued. Alex, I'm sorry. We thought you were struggling financially and we were trying to help. By selling my home to criminals while I was fighting for my life? When you put it like that. That's exactly what happened, Diego. No spin, no excuses. I could hear the sound of elevator doors closing, my family leaving the building they'd called home for over a year. Alex. Isabella's voice was smaller now. Are you going to press charges against us? I considered the question carefully. The FBI had a solid case for fraud, forgery, and conspiracy. My family could face serious jail time. That depends. On what? On whether you choose to be the people who steal from family members in crisis, or the people who earn their way back to respectability. My phone showed another incoming call. Dr. Patricia Williams, my surgeon. I need to take this, I told my family. Think about what kind of people you want to be going forward. I switched to Dr. Williams' call. Alex, I heard there was some kind of family emergency involving your housing situation. Nothing I can't handle from here. How are my recovery prospects looking? Excellent, actually. But Alex, I need to tell you something. When you were brought in, your family was asking detailed questions about your estate and medical decision-making authority. My blood chilled. What kind of questions? Whether you'd signed any advance directives, who had power of attorney if you became incapacitated, what happens to your assets if... She paused. If you didn't make it. They were planning my funeral while I was in surgery? I probably shouldn't have mentioned it, but when I heard about the apartment situation, I closed my eyes and let the implications wash over me. My family hadn't just stolen from me opportunistically, they'd been planning to liquidate my assets from the moment I'd arrived at the hospital. Dr. Williams, I need you to document everything they said. Times, exact quotes, witnesses present. Already done. I found their behavior concerning enough to make detailed notes. After hanging up, I opened my secure laptop connection to Pinnacle Properties' legal department. It was time to understand exactly what my family had been planning. The investigation took 47 minutes. What I found was worse than simple fraud. Isabella had been systematically researching my financial situation for months, using her access to my apartment to photograph documents and rifle through my mail. She discovered some of my smaller accounts and had been planning a comprehensive asset grab in case I ever became incapacitated. The apartment sale was just the beginning. They'd also attempted to access my investment accounts, tried to claim power of attorney over my business interests, and had even contacted several clients claiming I was unable to fulfill contractual obligations. My phone rang again. This time it was my business partner, Jennifer Liu. Alex, we have a problem. Someone claiming to represent you has been contacting our clients, suggesting that Pinnacle Properties is facing management transitions due to your health crisis. Let me guess, Isabella Martinez? How did you know? Family loyalty. What did she tell them? That you're incapacitated indefinitely and she's been authorized to handle business continuity. Northbrook Industries is concerned about their downtown development project. I sat up straighter, ignoring the pain in my ribs. Northbrook was our largest client, with a $78 million mixed-use development scheduled to break ground next month. Schedule a video conference with Northbrook for tomorrow morning. I'll handle it personally. Alex, you're in the hospital. I'm conscious, coherent, and capable of managing our business relationships. Set it up. After ending the call with Jennifer, I opened my laptop and began typing a detailed email to my legal team. If my family wanted to play games with my assets, they were about to learn why I'd become successful while they'd remain dependent on others. The next morning, I conducted the Northbrook video conference from my hospital bed. The bandages were hidden under a suit jacket Jennifer had brought, and the laptop angle hid the foredrip. To the clients, I appeared to be calling from a home office. Ladies and gentlemen, I said to the Northbrook board, I understand there have been some concerns about project continuity. Mr. Martinez, said Patricia Chin, Northbrook's CEO, we received some disturbing communications suggesting that Pinnacle Properties was facing management instability. I'm aware of that situation. What you received was an unauthorized communication from individuals who have no connection to Pinnacle Properties or authority to speak on our behalf. Then you're still personally overseeing the downtown development? Absolutely. In fact, I've been using this brief recovery period to finalize some exciting enhancements to the project. I shared my screen showing the updated development plans I'd been working on during my sleepless hospital nights. We're proposing to add a boutique hotel component and expand the retail space by 30%. The board spent 20 minutes reviewing the enhanced proposals. By the end of the call, they'd not only reconfirmed their commitment but had approved an additional $23 million for the expanded scope. As soon as the call ended, my phone rang. Isabel again. Alex, we need to talk. I'm listening. The police were just here. They said someone filed fraud charges related to the apartment sale. Did they now? Alex, please. We're family. Can't we work this out? Isabella, you've spent the last 3 days trying to steal my business, my home, and my financial accounts while I was unconscious in the hospital. What exactly did you think would happen? We were scared. We thought you might die and we didn't know what would happen to everyone. So you decided to liquidate my assets and keep the money for yourselves? Silence. Isabella, let me ask you something. In all the months you've been living rent-free in my building, eating at restaurants I own, shopping at malls where I'm the major investor, did it ever occur to you to wonder how your struggling brother could afford to support your lifestyle? We thought you were maxing out credit cards or something. You thought I was going into debt to subsidize your lives, and that seemed reasonable to you? More silence. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. The FBI investigation will determine whether criminal charges are filed. That's out of my hands now. But I'm prepared to offer each of you a path forward. What kind of path? I pulled up the employment contracts Jennifer had prepared that morning. Diego, there's a property maintenance coordinator position at our Riverside complex. $35,000 annually with performance bonuses and benefits. Isabella, customer relations associate at our retail management division. $32,000 base salary. You want us to work for you? I want you to work, period. Whether that's for me or someone else is your choice. And mom and dad? Dad's consulting practice is failing because he's been spending more time trying to manage my life than his own business.